Well, now to talk about this and what the hopes are ahead of the President's address tonight, we joined via Skype by CEO of Tourism Business Council of South Africa, Tshifhiwa Tshivhengwa. Well, thank you very much for coming through. I mean, like, what do you make out of the closing down of the Hilton in Durban, I mean, in the biggest tourism hub in the country?
Look, it is devastating. It is something that we've been talking about for quite a number of months now, saying that, the tourism sector, especially the hospitality side of things and the inbound side of things, they've been hit hard. And if you look at the Hilton in Durban, it's adjacent to the ICC, and the fact that we don't have any conferences happening means that, the hotel has not been able to attract any business since March this year. So, with the input costs, that are, forever there, including rates and taxes, it only makes a logical sense that, they close down, the hotel, or they suspend the operation, for now. But, this is an example of what's to come. If we do not, open up the economy and ensure that tourism can continue to function, and the value of tourism can continue to, bring in an income, we're going to have many more establishments that are going to become casualties of COVID-19. So we have to open up the economy. We have to make sure we do so safely. And we have been talking about this and advocating about this. And this is the start. And unfortunately, if we continue to have further restrictions, the more is to come.
If you help one to understand here, and if one were to think aloud, if you make a comparison of public events, surely when people are dancing and jumping around and drinking alcohol, they could be running the risk of high infection rates. But when you look at indoor events where there are strict COVID-19 restrictions and protocol, chances are likely that there would be lesser infection rates. So what would you suggest in as far as events are concerned, such as conferencing, which is formal and not erratic like any other event would be, especially with the president's, speech tonight? What would you say?
We have been, advocating for the events industry to open. And one of the things that the industry have done, is to do a mock-up of what the events will look like and what the exhibition will look like, during, this pandemic. And the exhibition shows how people can be controlled in terms of how many people are inside, how many people are still to be allowed inside, sanitization stations, social distancing, and so forth and so on. So we are able as an industry to have a very organized event or very organized meetings where people can be able to meet, even face-to-face, without being close to each other, and they can be able to conclude the matter that they need to conclude, be it business or many other things that people meet for. So we have presented that, and we've showcased how it's going to look like in terms of, the COVID protocols that we have in place. So we have been advocating to say we need to figure out how to open up this economy, especially from the events point of view, and we have to figure out how do we do it properly, especially those planned events that have control measures in place. And also we can teach all those other events that may not have control measures in place to say, this is how you do a successful event, in this, COVID era. So we have been doing it. We have, done a proof of concept. We believe we can do it safely. And we do hope that, when the president talk about, the regulations tonight, there is some relief for tourism in terms of many aspects that are restricted at the moment.
But we have actually ran out of time, but just a very quick one. So you would agree that controlled events would be viable other than the erratic behavior of people when they are at taverns, when they are at the beaches and the likes?
No, absolutely. We do believe that, controlled events will be viable, and we believe that we can do those safely. And the industry is ready to do those safely. But, we need a support from a regulatory point of view to make sure that we can get into it and do so safely.
When it comes to alcohol consumption, like many restaurants would say that they're not making money out of food only. What should happen regarding alcohol restrictions?
Look, I have driven around, closer to where I stay, to look at restaurants, and many of them are closed because it makes no business sense for them to be open when they cannot sell alcohol. So it doesn't make any business sense for them to open at all. So what we have now is a situation whereby from the on-site consumption of alcohol, within the restaurant space, they have done a great deal of work in terms of making sure that they comply with the protocols. Yes, there has been few, who have been rogue and who have gone out, out there and did things that they were not supposed to do. And I do believe that now, when we look at the regulation, we have to look at opening up, the alcohol sector. I'm not a spokesperson for the liquor industry, but, as restaurants and as a hospitality sector, if you look at the hotel sales, there's, food and beverage. Beverage is a big aspect of our income. And there are many restaurants that makes, between 50% to 80% of their income, from alcohol sales. So we have to look at it. It sustains many livelihoods, but we have to do it safely. And we think that, at the moment, with the closing of the sale of alcohol, we're going to continue to shed jobs. Many restaurants are not going to open. And I think it's time that we open up the economy. Let those who want to consume alcohol, do so responsibly, and let's run a message that will make sure that people understand the effects of alcohol, as well as understanding the COVID-19 regulations.
What do you think the president is going to announce on with immediate effect?
Look, I can only talk about my wish list. My wish list is that with immediate effect, the beaches have to be opened. They've been closed for far too long. Alcohol have to be allowed to be sold at on-site and off-consumption sales. And also, the curfew have to be looked at, because at the moment, the airlines have readjusted their schedules, to accommodate the curfew, and it's not working properly. And I think that we need to readjust. We need to make sure that, we run, campaigns to ensure that people understand the risks that are out there in terms of COVID-19, and also people to follow protocols. But I think that, the president should announce those few things. We should be able to open up the tourism industry. Any ban or any further ban, will not be good for the tourism industry. We will have mass retrenchments, and we're going to have the industry, that's going to be decimated, and it's going to take time to rebuild it.
I hope to speak to you tomorrow about your wish list, but for now, let's say see you tomorrow.
Thank you very much. See you tomorrow.
Okay, Tshifhiwa Tshivhengwa, who is with the Tourism Business Council of South Africa. We're going to take a break. We'll be back after this.